One only has to look at the statistics and at the increasing number of diseased and obese Americans. People have become enslaved of their habits and indulgences, and we have lost self-control and self-discipline. We are trading short-term pleasures and indulgences at the expense of the bigger treasures of life, which are health, abundance, and living for service.
Yeah, I was playing tennis, and my right arm was bothering me a little bit. And this one day, I was bothering me serving, so I thought, okay, I'll try to serve underhand. And that didn't work too well, but I was continuing to play. And then I hit a hard forehand, and I thought my arm was going to fall off. I mean, it really hurt. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? So I went to an orthopedic guy that I'd gone to once before. I had a little bit of a problem with that shoulder before. And they x-rayed it and said, oh, you got a little arthritis there. We'll give you a cortisone shot and do some physical therapy. And that seemed to take care of it for a while, probably a year or so. But then this came out. So I went back to him and he said, well, let's give you another cortisone shot, and go do the physical therapy. Well, that did not work that time at all. No improvement whatsoever. So I went back to him and I said, hey, we need to do something about this. So we did an MRI. And found out the rotator cuff was pretty badly torn. I couldn't get it fixed by surgery. So what else do you do? And I, quite frankly, at that time, didn't know anything at all about stem cell. And it was my daughter that put me onto this particular YouTube broadcast where I watched and found out a little more about it.
Not only did I leave a little small school and go straight to the Super Bowl, I have a record for the most touchdowns for kickoff returns in postseason NFL history. Like there's been more people to walk on the moon, So I got to those high heights, but then was taken out by injury. I tore my PCL, which is something that normally happens in a car crash, is what I'm told. But I tried to keep at it and just that wear and tear. And, the knee just wouldn't respond like it used to. So that it took me out. It was time to change the chapter.
Well, Dr. Mike has made a profound impact on athletes. For one, at the very least, getting regenerative medicine and stem cells on their minds, making sure they understand what it is, so they'll consider it, before surgery. Second thing, direct impact. We brought professional world champion boxers, legendary guys like Pinklon Thomas, two-time heavyweight world champion, Riddick Bowe, International Boxing Hall of Famer, Ron Dixon, NFL star, New York Giants, Curtis Mitchell, who's a bronze medalist at the World Championship in track and field, who's actually pursuing 2020 Olympics right now. He would not even be practicing on the track if it wasn't for Dr. Mike, because he was sidelined for 6 months from a foot injury. He got a treatment from Dr. Mike's Matrix Medical Facility. 3 weeks later, he's on the track practicing again. So impactful in multiple sports, multiple lives. So obviously that story is being told right now to the rest of our membership and to the public. So it's not just for senior citizens, it's for professional athletes, to everyday people, to businessmen like me. So it's really important that what Dr. Mike is doing and his impact on society.
When you're in a lot of pain and you're dealing with pain and you go through one procedure that didn't work and another procedure didn't work and you're taking the pain pills and you're still having pain, like you're in search for that pain be pain free, and I got connected with Dr. Mike and had a great discussion, and I told him what my problems were and he told me how he could help, and I told him I was with it.
I am Dr. Mike Van Thielen. I am the CEO, President of Matrix Medical. I'm a PhD in holistic nutrition. I'm an author and a renowned keynote speaker. I grew up in Belgium, which is a little country in the center of Europe. I grew up in a single family home. My mother made ends meet. She worked very hard to provide for me and my brother. When I was in elementary school, we did all kinds of sports activities, and I was on the basketball team, the soccer team. I was the fastest runner in the class. But when it came to swimming, I actually lost to one of my better friends because he was part of the local swim team. And so I'm a sore loser, so I decided to go and join the swim team too. And that's where I found my passion for swimming at age 8. I graduated from the University of Brussels as a physical therapist, and at that time I traveled with the Belgian Olympic swim team in preparation for the Atlanta Games in 1996. So we traveled all around the world, and we came particularly to Fort Lauderdale a few times for training camps, and I absolutely fell in love with Fort Lauderdale. So during that time there was a recruiter that wanted me to come work in the United States as a physical therapist. And when he asked, where did you want to work? I obviously said Fort Lauderdale. He answered, well, I don't have a position in Fort Lauderdale right now, but I have one in Ormond Beach. So I replied, well, I don't know where Ormond Beach is, but the beach sounds fine. And that's how I ended up here in Ormond Beach, Florida.
I was very mainstream medicine with the anesthesia, and he was involved in multiple modalities that assisted mainstream medicine, physical therapy, acupuncture, and now regenerative medicine. As he ventured into the field of regenerative medicine 4 years ago, and I started contemplating a way to leave regular medicine and head towards the holistic, more natural medical marijuana, our paths crossed again, and we decided it was time for us to collaborate together and bring more treatment modalities to our patients.
He has investigated stem cells and their application in regenerative medicine and sports medicine, and has become well known in this area as an expert in stem cell therapy and regenerative medicine.
He might not have been the guy that invented it, but he might be the guy that's been perfecting it. And his experience seeing people that are senior citizens, 80, 90 years old, coming in there and giving their lives back, regenerating their shoulder and their knees, getting over their osteoarthritis and neuropathy and all the things, cool things he's doing like that. But he also experiences with world-class athletes, people that are pretty extraordinary. And he's had remarkable success at a very high success rate. So to me, that quantifies him as the legitimate authority.
After the injury or whatever I did to it, I couldn't swim very well. It was, try to swim a crawl was no good at all. And certain ways I would reach my arm up in the air trying to do something, and it would really hurt. I wasn't that I couldn't use it, but I couldn't use it well. It hurt at times, and I couldn't play tennis, no way. What surprised me is how much, just hitting the floor, how much that could hurt my arm, There's no idea was it coming from the shoulder at the time.
What do we do at Neomatrix Medical? Well, our mission is to revolutionize regenerative medicine through safe, effective, and innovative therapies and offer all the people the opportunity to regain control of their health and well-being. Our regenerative medicine model, Resolve, Restore, Rejuvenate, facilitates a 3-phase approach to optimal health and longevity. Our purpose is to resolve pain, restore optimal function and vitality, and rejuvenate the mind and the body. We believe in living life to the fullest, achieving true longevity, and extending a helping hand to anyone in need. And that's why I started Neomatrix Medical.
Dr. Mike, the treatment, just going straight in from conversation, it was overwhelming. Me getting a better understanding, hearing about the different procedures, so different than what I had priorly been introduced to, and just meeting the whole team and how detailed it was. My last 2 procedures, they took something out of my body, right? So this time, Dr. Mike then put something in. And then hit me with this and hit me with that. And, everything has been amazing.
Not only does Dr. Mike believe in the alternative methods. He actually walks the walk. He doesn't just talk. He wants to share both educationally and in the office treatment-wise these wonderful alternative methods to healing what ails people today.
So a good candidate for the stem cells or the soft wave treatment would be someone who has chronic pain, inflammatory joint disease, possibly an athlete or someone who is active and wants to remain active, someone who has tried other treatments and failed and is looking for non-surgical alternatives. Those would be good candidates.
Our three-phase approach, resolve, restore, rejuvenate, can naturally address and may help in the following conditions: chronic pain and arthritis, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia type of conditions, obesity, metabolic syndrome and diabetes. Because I believe that drugs don't cure, injections don't cure, surgeries don't cure, food doesn't cure, supplements don't cure, therapies don't cure. I believe that only the body can heal itself. So we need to put the body in the right conditions so it can heal itself.
The device we're using here is soft wave therapy. Now, soft wave therapy is an acoustic therapy. It uses sound waves, and these sound waves produce peaks, and these peaks are called shock waves. Now, according to scientific literature, these shock waves have 4 physiological effects on the body. Number 1, they shut down inflammation immediately, which means that patients leave our office with a lot less pain. That's a pretty good deal, right? Number 2, this shockwave also increases the blood flow, not temporarily, but sustained increased blood flow. That means that it increases healing and repair of the tissue. Number 3, these shock waves also stimulate the stem cells in our body, which number 4 turns into increased healing and tissue repair. And that's why we use this soft wave on our patients, often in conjunction with the stem cell based therapies.
On a scale of 1 to 10, when I hit a forehand with that, it was a 10, a good 10. And I've had other injuries before. I mean, you know, injured in sports and things like that, nothing that serious, no broken bones. But it really hurt when I hit a hard forehand. I just couldn't do it anymore. After the treatment, I came back on the court and I had no pain whatsoever. It went from 10 to 0.
The 3 benefits I would think were, just looking forward to getting up in the morning not being in pain, knowing that, I'm not going to have complications with walking. Another benefit is not only being able to walk, but, walking 20 miles a week, without the pain, without the swelling, without all this discomfort. And that was key for me. I knew I was never going back to the NFL, but just being able to walk, being able to move around, bend over without all the physical pain, is a pure benefit.
I've personally been there to witness it now on 4 occasions with our close athletes in our associations. So from Ron Dixon, the NFL, to world championship boxers, to Olympic athlete on his way to Tokyo. I've witnessed it firsthand. I was actually there for these treatments because I wanted to see for myself all the ins and outs of the procedure, and every time it's been consistent, him and his team. Every time they've had really successful results. So I'm a believer.
So people ask me often, how does this regenerative medicine fit into your goal of teaching people on how to regain control of their health?
Well, regenerative medicine and stem cell-based therapies really offer people another alternative to drugs and injections and surgeries, because those drugs and surgeries have detrimental effects on the body. And regenerative medicine is safe and effective without adverse reactions, without downtime, and without surgery or drugs involved.
Scientific literature has shown that the treatments and protocols that he's using are effective, and it's an alternative to pharmaceutical drugs or surgery, and therefore it's a more natural way. And if you failed conventional treatments, it's time to try something different. It's time to try something more advanced, something that's going to help you.
That's why we promote the hashtag No Surgery movement, to promote to society that to look into stem cell therapy.
To start your journey to optimal health, I suggest following my action plan in my book Health for Life User Manual. For those of you interested in learning more about stem cells and regenerative medicine, read my book Stem Cells One-on-One, which shares with you the 7 key questions you should ask when considering stem cell-based therapies. Visit my website mikevantielen.com for updated info and speaking performances, and please share this with family and friends.